Do you feel like your speech sounds choppy? Or do native speakers tell you that you're adding sounds between your words? If so, then keep watching because I'm going to tell you how to fix that. Hi, I'm Lori from Pronunciation Pro, and in each of my videos I usually provide just a snippet of information about American English pronunciation. A snippet is a small amount of something. So the idea is to give you something small and targeted in each video that you can work on to help you sound more like a native American English speaker. This will be the first in a series of videos on fluency, and this particular video is going to be just a little bit longer than I normally do because I want to give you a full explanation of how to master this skill, as well as example sentences you can practice. So a subscriber of mine requested help on linking final D to other words. So in this video, I want to teach you how to do that. This video will mostly focus on final D and T because those tend to be the most problematic sounds to link. But this technique can be applied to any linking of consonant sounds. The issue that most students face is that they either sound choppy or they end up adding extra sounds between their words when they're trying to link a word ending with a D or a T to another word that starts with a consonant. This happens because most of you were taught to give D and T a pretty forceful release, like this: D, T. This works fine if that final D or T comes at a pausing point or at the end of the sentence, because a full release is necessary in those circumstances. And it also works if the next word starts with a vowel, because you can link that forceful release right into the vowel sound, as in the phrase, I stayed at home. Stayed at. Hear how I'm taking that D from stayed and linking it into the word at? I stayed at home. But what if you have to connect a final D or T to another word that starts with a consonant? There's a danger of sounding choppy and getting a vowel sound between those words if you do a forceful release. So I'd know might sound like I'd know, and right way might sound like right way, which can be confused for the phrase right away. To fix this problem, I teach my students to use what I call a stopped D or a stopped T when final D or T has to be linked to another consonant sound. It's a stopped D or T because you're stopping your tongue while it's still touching the roof of your mouth instead of releasing it. Let's go back to that first sample phrase I just gave you. I'd know. We're going to stop our tongue while it's making contact with the roof of the mouth. I'd. Now, the N sound is made with the tongue touching the exact same spot as it does for D. So you're just going to keep your tongue right there, switch the airflow to coming out your nose for the N, and then release your tongue from that N position. There's no need to move the tongue as you switch from D to N at all. I know. I know. Now, maybe the next sound isn't made with the tongue in the same position like we had with D and N. What if the phrase is, I'd like? In this case, we're still going to stop our tongue while it's touching the roof of the mouth for D, not releasing it, and we're just going to slide it forward to that L position. So we're sliding it this way, which is touching the back of the upper front teeth. I'd like. I'd like. What if you can't slide into the next consonant because it's not even a tongue sound, but rather a lip sound, as in the phrase, I'd be? Well, we're still going to stop our tongue while it's on the roof of the mouth for D, and then we're going to close our lips to position for the B, and then release our tongue from the roof of the mouth. I'd be. I'd be. I'd recommend getting your lips completely in place for that B before you release the D. But as you get better at this, you'll be able to release the D at the same time as you're positioning for the B. So now let's go to that other sample phrase I gave you so we can practice smoothly moving from a final T sound to another consonant. We're going to do the same thing we did with the final D, but with one more step. We have to turn off our voice once our tongue hits the roof of the mouth because T is a voiceless consonant. So in the phrase right way, we're going to stop our tongue once it touches the roof of the mouth, and we're also going to turn off our voice. Right, right. The rest is the same as I described earlier. We're going to position our lips for the W sound, and then we'll release the tongue from that T position. Right way, right way. And if you're linking a T to a sound that's produced with the tongue in the exact same spot, such as N, you'll keep the tongue right there without moving it, as in right now. Notice that before I released my tongue, I turned my voice back on because N is a voiced consonant. First, the voice shuts off for the T, but then it turns back on for the N, and then the tongue is released. Right now, right now. Now, some of my students mistakenly think I'm telling them to totally skip the D or the T, but that's not the case. You're still going to position for these sounds. You're just not taking that second step of releasing them. If I don't position at all for the T and I don't shut my voice off, I get this, right way. That doesn't sound the same as right way, does it? My listener has no idea there's a T in that word if I say right way. What's great is that this technique doesn't only apply to situations where you're linking two separate words together. It also works for those times when you have to link a D or T to another consonant sound within a word, as in words like advice or apartment. On advice, I'm not releasing my tongue from the D position until I've got my teeth and lips in place for the V. So it's advice, not advice. And on apartment, I'm not releasing the T, but I am shutting my voice off because T is a voiceless consonant. Then I'm positioning my lips for the M and releasing the T. So it's apartment, not apartment. And it's definitely not apartment. You can use this same technique for linking other final consonant sounds too, like k, v, z, and so forth. For example, like that. I'm positioning for that K, which is a back of the tongue sound, stopping my tongue right there and shutting my voice off because K is a voiceless consonant. Then I'm positioning for the TH and releasing the K. Like that. Like that. Here's another example. Have been. I'm positioning for the V and sliding into that B sound from the V. Have been. And a final example, was mine. I'm keeping my tongue in the Z position until my lips are almost completely closed for the M. Was mine. Was mine. Let's try those words and phrases now in sentences. After I say a sentence, hit the pause button and try to say it the exact same way. Ready? Here we go. I'd know. I'd know. If I was an actor, I'd know people in Hollywood. Right way. right way. This is the right way to do it. Like that. Like that. I like that opera very much. Advice. Advice. I need a little advice from you. I'd be. I'd be. I'd be careful if I were you. Right now. Right now. He is coming over right now. Apartment. Apartment. My apartment is on a one-way street. Have been. Have been. I have been over there before. I'd like. I'd like. I thought I'd like it. Was mine. Was mine. She knew the key was mine. So I hope you found that technique helpful. If so, please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be covering other fluency issues in future videos, including more tips on linking. So be sure to leave me a comment if there are any specific problems or concerns you'd like me to address. And if you want more in-depth help in mastering the skill of linking, come work with me at Pronunciation Pro. I've included the link in the comments section below. In the meantime, happy practicing, and I'll see you in the next video.